And we are live, people. Good morning to all. Good morning to y'all. Welcome to another edition of Wake and Pack on Tuesday. Give y'all a little time to get up in here. I'm sure you guys heard the news. Obviously, you see the thumbnail. The Packers have hired a new strength and conditioning coach by the name of Aaron. Didn't do too much extensive research on him yet. This is still fresh, you guys. But he was San Francisco's strength and conditioning coach for the past 4 years. And before then, he was Vanderbilt's strength and conditioning coach for 3 years. So that's pretty much his recent background. And an assistant strength and conditioning coach for San Francisco. So, they still got their guy over there, but he's always been the assistant this whole time. So, during that time, in recent times, the Niners have been very fortunate, keeping rosters together as far as health-wise. They had a couple freak injuries, Brock Purdy, a couple of their running backs had injuries, but that's pretty much normal in the NFL, especially at the running back position. That's probably the least time you have as a football player if you play in that position. You literally get beat up, even when you don't take the handoff. When you don't take the handoff, you're expected to do pass protection. Block these linebackers who are significantly heavier than you. Running backs range be like, 210 to 215, 225. Derrick Henry, A.J. Dillon type dudes, 240, 250. Gus the bus. Jerome Bettis the bus too. Cats like that. But, yeah, man. So if anything, what I got to say about him, Aaron Hill, is, we weaken the enemy. We weaken the enemy to a certain point. How much it's going to weaken them, I don't know. And then again, whoever their strength and conditioning coach is currently, that does not mean that he is a carbon copy of this guy. Just because you're under somebody, I always try to tell you, just because you're under somebody doesn't mean that you take their whole philosophy and you just take their whole game and do it your own self. Me, as just a, logical human being, if I'm around a lot of places, if I'm around a lot of coaches, I'm going to get my favorite quality from all those coaches and put it together, and that's going to make me as a coach, right? But some people totally go off the script and don't do what their previous coach did when they was under them. Again, when you get the keys to the car to drive it, you're going to drive it a different way. You might prefer the freeway over the street. You might know certain shortcuts that you know how to go, right? So that's that. I did not do my extensive research on Aaron Hill because I was busy doing a little bit of research on Drew Brees. Okay. Shout out to Zane Strong in the motherfucking building, bro. Thank you for coming through. And let me get this shit over with now too, while we on subject. Shout out to Zane Strong. We had a little tournament yesterday of sorts in Madden. Okay, I'm gonna get this shit over with. He beat me fair and square. Best 2 out of 3. He won 2, I won 1. In my defense, and to be fair, the game I did win, he didn't score. Okay, I shut him out, and it was a skunk. Okay, we just gonna leave it at that. But he did beat me 2 out of 3. Okay, and he was the better man. Okay, so sometimes, man, hey, you get in a fight, you get your hits in after the fight, shake the dude hand like a man and say, hey, it's all good. We had a good one. Hey, next time we see each other, I'm gonna get the better end of you. That's the better way to handle things instead of just saying fuck you or fuck somebody and this and that. Again, we just talking about a game with Zane Strong, but I'm just talking about just being a human being in general. But shout out to Zane, and we gonna get that rematch on. But yeah, Zane whooped my ass yesterday, man. Had me up all night trying to practice. I'm like, next time I play him, it's on. Cali Packer, I'm looking for you too, man. So we gonna make that shit happen too. But let's talk about Drew Brees. So first of all, shout out to my boy, man, KHTV. Okay, he came through the chat yesterday, You know, I don't know what he was on. You know, he probably had to sage his house or do something. But listen, he came through with some Drew Brees slander. Listen, I am not a Drew Brees fan, not a New Orleans Saints fan, clearly. You know, but I am a fan of the game. I respect the game. So yeah, shout out to you, bro. You came up with a good game plan, man. And you know, I'm gonna have to figure out how to stop that shit. That shit was not cool, bro. You know. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, Drew Brees, y'all. You know, I'm not a Drew Brees apologist. Again, I'm not a fan at all. But when KH came with the Drew Brees slander yesterday, a couple things came in my mind instant. Kind of like the time, you know, TR caught me off guard where I knew how I felt about something. I just couldn't come up with the words at the time because that's just not what I was thinking about. When I did that thumbnail yesterday, I wasn't thinking about praising Drew Brees. I wasn't thinking about even talking about Drew Brees. The only thing I was saying was, you know, Jordan Love is out there. Again, a dumb person probably can't learn from a smart person, but a smart person can definitely learn from a dumb person. You know, if you know, with that analogy, we would call Drew Brees the dumb player in this, right? You know, even though he's not a dumb player, he is a Hall of Famer. You know, yesterday I stuck my chest out and said he's a definite Hall of Famer just because, you know, the first thing that came to my mind when the Drew Brees slander came was, you know, he has been, you know, the quarterback of my fantasy leagues a lot, right? He was always a sleeper pick, a guy who I could pick where nobody's going to pick him first. We're not saying he's the best ever, nothing like that. Nobody's going to pick him first, but that boy got me some yards, especially with the slant-a-thon between him and Michael Thomas those years. I had both of them as a tag team in my fantasy. And then again, you guys, hey, be ready and don't be scared. This year, it is going to be official. It's going to be ahead of time, and there will be a date for the Higher Point of View Fantasy Football League. Y'all talk this and that about football. Y'all good GMs. Y'all know what players does this and does that. Well, it is your chance to put your money where your mouth is. Now, it's not free. I mean, it's not. I'm not going to charge for it. I'm going to do a free league, but you know, for bragging rights. Or if y'all want to play for money, there is a certain thing called Cash App out there. Okay, we can't do that, but you know, it's going to be a free league. Anybody can join. I'm sure there will be a Waken Pack in the future where I'm going to gather up all 12 people or 11 because I'm one of the players. I always do a 12-teamer. So, you know, we're going to join that league and have a good year. But that's far from now. Back to Drew Brees. Shout out to Brandy. Hey, let it out. Please, let it out. Hey, Dave. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Mississippi. Yo, we about to get there, bro. We about to get there right now. Oh, you want in this year? Hey, I'm gonna write your name first on the list. You know, it's a 12-teamer, so I'm gonna get you locked in. So when the time comes, I'm gonna let everybody know the draft date. Make yourself available. I'm gonna make sure it's a time where everybody is available, and we're gonna have a fun fantasy football year. So that's what we're gonna do for anybody who wants to join. Oh yeah. Well, Brandy, you know, I ought to just do it. I kind of started it a year and a half ago of my series called The Media Sucks. And that's one of the ways that they do suck. But what we got to understand, now we're in the days of clicks, views, likes, and shit, especially at a time right now, Brandy, where there's no football around. Hey, you're interested in the XFL, USFL merger, be my fucking guest. I will not be watching. Sorry to say, and I love football. You know, I'd rather watch wrestling over that shit. But, you know, that could be you know, kind of a smaller NFL where NFL could get players from those teams, right? You know, kind of like a free agency pool. So, I mean, I think it's good for the game of football, but I ain't about to be watching that shit. But, yeah, man, I've been hearing about the Bakhtiari mess, but no real facts. You know, even as soon as the year ended, oh, does Jair want to be traded? Like, why is y'all doing this? You know what I'm saying? Good already had to come out and say Jair was good, you know. But again, at the end of the day, we ain't gonna get mad at that because we know what it's about. It's about clicks and it's about irrelevancy. There is not a game on Sunday, right? So they're just trying to get their clicks and views now because anybody is thirsty right now for some kind of football news, even though the season just ended and I myself miss it already. Back to KHTV and Big Nate. I'm gonna throw Big Nate in there too. I watched the video, great video, KHTV yesterday, talk about Breeze. But like I said, but for whatever reason, and again, this is not the end all be all. Jordan Love might be working with Peyton Manning right now. We just don't know. And that was a photo. And I'm sure that wasn't a direct, oh, I'm training with you, Drew Brees. Show me how to, show me how to, show me some good footwork. Show me some range of throws that I could probably do, or, just tell me about it. I doubt it was a one-on-one training deal like that. It was all kind of athletes there. I just think that was a good way for him to find other ways to get in shape, to stay in shape. He might already have his routine he had his whole life with football, but now he's like, well, shit, I want to train. I want to be a top-tier athlete all around, all across the board. So let me see what Dominic Cruz is doing. Former UFC fighter, one of the best fighters ever. A couple other quarterbacks there, and just other people from other walks of sports life. So I don't think that's bad. One drama-free offseason. Brandy, I thought we would have had that this year, but it's the NFL. It's the weekly soap opera. So back to Drew Brees. I always tell people, you got to put some respect. Pro Bowls used to have respect on it, right? I used to watch it. I used to love it. Pro Bowls used to mean a lot to me. It means nothing anymore. But something that still means a lot, y'all, is all pros. Like I always say, shout out to Milto. They ain't just giving all pros around at the corner. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just giving them around at the bank or wherever. Like, to get an all pro, that means you are known as a consensus best player that given year at your position. And I'm not even talking about second team all pro. I'm talking about first team all pro. Drew Brees has that under his belt. If I'm not mistaken, same amount as Aaron Rodgers. And then again, I'm only doing this because it's motherfucking February 20th. Ain't no game on Sunday, but I would never defend anybody else, and I'm not defending Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers. But if you are a logical thinker, and if you look at the numbers, like my boy David said, the numbers don't lie. 1,000 yards. Okay, that's not enough. He threw for 571 touchdowns. That's not enough. A completion percentage career with 67, amongst the highest in NFL history. So we got first team all pro, I already told y'all about. 6 years he led the league in completions and completion percentage. So you can say, oh, he's throwing it so much, so to get this many yards. Well, the completion percentage talks for himself. Although I told y'all it was the slot-a-thon, or the slant-a-thon. Michael Thomas, 4-yard, 5-yard slants, taking it for an extra 20 after that, scoring a lot of touchdowns that way. But I'm just saying, put a little respect on Drew Brees' name. 7 years he led the league in passing yards. 4 of those years were for 5,000 plus yards. Name me one year where Aaron Rodgers threw for 5,000. Although, again, I would never in any day of the week pick Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers. Fan and have that much, Brees. Now listen, I wouldn't even like Drew Brees, nothing to me in my lifetime. What, a few regular season games, the Saints beat us, but we beat them too over the years, and our record over the years is not only it's better than theirs from the time they had their Super Bowl run and the time we did. So I am confident and comfortable as a Packer fan to say we are the better franchise than the Saints. And another thing, they don't just give out Super Bowls either for starting quarterbacks. He got one of those too. And then another thing, what was mentioned yesterday? Oh man, Bounty Gate. That's all cool, and that did happen, and maybe that did sway the game certain ways sometimes. But that's also on the refs to call plays. I mean, to call a foul a foul. They missed a lot of fouls on Favre in the NFC Championship that time they played the Vikings, which, again, I felt sad for Favre. And at that time, I hated his guts. So for me to have any kind of compassion for Favre at that time, they was beating his ass. I felt bad. So, but that has nothing to do with his side of the ball. That's like saying Richard Seymour or Vince Wilfork has something to do with Deflategate. Yes, it's on the whole Patriots team. It's a stink on their record or however way you perceive them getting these championships. But, Drew Brees ain't got nothing to do with no Bounty Gate. All he had to do was lead his offense which he did for many years in a row. One comment made by Big Nate, shout out to Big Nate, shout out to Monica and I and everybody. Big Nate said, Drew Brees is not great. He's just great at getting records or breaking records. Well, how do you break a record, people? You don't have to be good at something. You have to be great at something. Not only do you have to be great to break a record, you have to be great for a certain period amount of time. You know, I'm just going to end it at that with my whole Drew Brees. Oh, led the league in touchdowns 4 times too. The whole league led him in touchdowns. 36 touchdowns and 43 touchdowns. Numbers speak for themselves, y'all. Just argument. I remember as soon as the Drew Brees slip started coming, it was like, damn, I drafted this dude on my fantasy team for a lot of years, and he really, again, I won 1 Super Bowl, you know, but I've been to 3. But you know, he's been a very big part of that. So that's the first thing I noticed. And the second thing I noticed, I had a homeboy who was a New Orleans Saints fan, and we used to go back and forth, you know, word for word, stat for stat about his franchise against mine. I always got him historically, but from that time frame that we was arguing, Drew Brees put up better numbers than Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say on that. Again, this is very light. We already know this ain't nothing, you know, nothing crazy. You already know my boy Cage TV, my boy Big Nate, my boy, the Outlaws, right? So yeah, so shout out to y'all, but that's what I got on that. But we can get into whatever y'all want to talk about. Absolutely, David. That's what people live for. You know, positive stuff online, positive, all that. Even when it comes to positive music, doesn't get as much clicks. Motherfuckers like negativity out there. That's just the way the world is. That's what the world feeds off of. So I wouldn't get into all of these clickbait conversations and all that about stuff like that. If you were to listen to the clickbait, you know, Jair wouldn't be there anymore. Devondre Campbell will be gone already. Like, nobody knows what's going on inside the confines of 1265 Lombardi Avenue. Okay, so that's that. Oh yeah, again, and then they were relevant in the most possible. Again, if the rig was in, the rig was in. And then again, if the rig was in, then it's got to be in for the green and gold soon, if y'all want to go the rig route. But he won in the most important year for New Orleans history. 2005 Hurricane Katrina, they won the goddamn Super Bowl. You know, so he's going to go make, they already made his jacket. Y'all talking about, is he going to make the Hall of Fame or not? They already made the motherfucker's jacket. So he going to be there. So just on that alone, winning that was so big for the Saints, so big for the NFL, them to win that kind of, you know, that kind of way after that tragedy. Exactly. Y'all seen the thumbnails, you know, again, I'm the same as y'all. I type in Packers every goddamn day on Google, right? So I seen the thumbnails of all this shit. But again, what does it mean? Nothing. People yesterday, oh, this is the last day. Last day for what? It is not a game Sunday. People, this is the last day they can sign Keyshawn and this and that and this and that. No, it is fucking not. Okay? Like Brandy said, we did something similar. Shout out to Big Nate, Packers fans with swagger. And the whole house over there. Shout out to Zane Strong again, too. Hey, see? If y'all don't know who Baby Gronk is, y'all, that's Tucker Kraft. And Tucker Kraft was kicking my ass yesterday in Madden. Zane Strong knows how to use him. I use Musgrave more. He used Tucker Kraft more. Okay, you know how to do. Hey, you know how I go back to work, Big Nate. We had the long weekend, but now, hey, school's back in. We got to handle all that kid shit. You already know how that go. Hey, that's another thing, Brandy. Shout out to my boy TR. He actually joined my league last year, and after a while, TR turned into a homer. Half his roster was Packers too. I try not to do it. You know, my early years in fantasy, that's how it went. But when you're playing to win, you're playing to win. Now, one rule I do have, you guys, and under no circumstance will I do this, and you guys will see this in our fantasy league. I pick no Bears at all. Can't even get on my roster. Can't even make a. I don't give a fuck what the deal is. I ain't gonna lie. I had Herbert for like 2 weeks this year. You know, hey, he had to, you know, he hooked me up there. But I don't draft Bears. Let's say that I don't draft Bears. Now, for motherfuckers on a waiver wire, and I got the ups on, and I could possibly trade him or something like that, I might pick a Bear. But I don't draft any Bears. Absolutely, really don't draft Vikings either. Lions, I ain't gonna lie, I draft a few of them when necessary. Okay, because again, they the little cousins. I ain't got nothing against them. They ain't did me no harm in my life. You only live 1 hour from Superdome. I did not know it was that close, bro. Yeah, y'all all close up down there in the dirty South, man. Shout out to my boy Dave again. Yeah, absolutely. That's what this show was supposed to be about, Brandy. Before I went on a little, trying to tell my people what's going on. But yeah, man, 4 seasons at San Francisco, their strength and conditioning coach. He was also in college for 3 years at Vanderbilt. So again, he hasn't been as many as stops. That's why they're great, because it's like this motherfucker been college, 2 colleges, NFL. Shout out to the boy. Shit bugging out, y'all, but it is what it is. Shout out to TR, man. Thank you for listening in. Is Rodgers washed? I think that remains to be seen, man. He looked good to me, when he ran out of the tunnel. I know, you can't judge much about running out of the tunnel, but that's pretty much all we seen. Him running out of the tunnel and then him running for his life. So that's all we seen from Aaron Rodgers. But again, the only time I'm going to throw in a few punches at Aaron Rodgers is, again, obviously he's my favorite quarterback, favorite NFL player of all time. But he is currently not a Packer right now. He will retire as a Packer. He's going to have a homecoming. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a crowd and all that. And hopefully it's during a victory from the Packers in about 3 or 4 years, right? He's going to be in a Ring of Fame, wall, whatever, all that shit. Give him a street too. All right, but this is the only time where I'm going to slander Rodgers a little bit just because he's not in our uniform, bro. Y'all know I'm Packer die. So, the complicated fella, that's, if he was a Packer, I would not have done this argument with Drew Brees. I felt a little uncomfortable giving him this much praise because, but I just had to prove a point. If you know good football and seeing good football, let's not take it away from anybody else who's going out there balling. This motherfucker threw for 80,000 yards, you guys. 571 touchdowns, got a long period of time. So what? We gonna be mad at LeBron for breaking Kareem's record? Is that not impressive? Fucking yes, it's impressive. How long did that record stand before LeBron broke it? 30-some fucking years? Hey, it's cool. I love the Packers too, but the Packers are not nothing without their opponents. So, they are not the end-all, be-all of the NFL. They got the teams, other fan bases out there, as much as we don't think so. But again, it could just be one thing J Love learned from Breeze, and that's all he needed to take from him. You never know. To be a master at something, you got to look at masters at other things. Was Drew Brees the best ever? No. Did he have the best arm? No. Was he the best athletically? No. But what is he the best accuracy? And you already learned from a 12 too, never threw for 5,000 yards. Maybe you would have, Charles Rodgers, if you would have threw over the middle a little bit. See, hey, this is my only time I'm going to be talking shit about Rodgers. Y'all know I love him, but, looking at those Drew Brees, and then the website had the goddamn nerve to make you match players. You can type in any name on his website and look up head-to-head stats of people. So, after 30 seconds of looking at that, Brees and Rodgers, I had to back out. So, just put a little respect on Brees' name, y'all. That's exactly what he's going to be, Brandy. But, they'll win some games, man. He's one of the greats ever. I can watch his highlights all day and all night. And yeah, definitely. It is an inside joke. Shout out to my boy Bernard, man. Shout out to my boy Bernard. Shout out to Moving the Chain. Shout out to my boy KH again, man. Exactly. And that's why I am so happy, including myself. A lot of people ask me, it's easy for me to answer questions about acquisitions and what I think I would do and what I would want right now. But when your ass is really on the line, when your job is on the line and your ass will get fired for not doing it, that's a different story. You can have that, It's easy for us to sit back and be fans and just say this and that, but when you got to make those decisions, like how many people had Goots back when he drafted Jordan Love? Zero. You know, how many have his back now for drafting Jordan Love? A whole lot. Y'all, let's act like we can learn some shit. If some shit happens in front of our face, that is something believable that we can think that happens, right? So let's not forget about shit like that. That's fine, you know, because he has the roaming safety, star position, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes a roaming safety, he might go up to the line of scrimmage, middle of the snap, start dropping back, and he'll become that other deep, deep line of defense. Why he always had one high safety shows the confidence that he has in his corners. So, you know, you can have one high safety if you got some good lockdown corners. We have one lockdown corner, Jair Alexander. We got a sticky one, too sticky at times, Valentine. You know, who knows what Eric Stokes is at this point. We'll figure that out. We'll find that out. Hopefully TR's alma mater can fix him and I'll be sure Christian Watson up. Shout out to my boy House of Red Wine. Y'all know what it is. I'm going to say it again. Zane Strong with my ass yesterday. See, I ain't hating. You feel me? Hey, you fall down, get back up, you know? Shout out to Goat Mike. Go Pack. I'd rather re-sign Savage for more reasons than on the field. He is a leader, and I just like his bulliness. You need that on the field. He's the guy after plays are even done. He's still swiping the ball, taking it away from the offensive players. That gets in people's head at times. It gets in their head and it gets them frustrated. They might get up and be tired of it all game and go push Savage and cause us to get a 10 or 15-yard penalty that might change the game. You know, he's grown into being a bully. That's one thing he has grown into, you know. Now, as far as on the field, he can put himself in better positions, but whose job is that too? It's the coach's job. So again, we're going to get all the answers we need when Coach Hafley puts his fingerprints all over this defense. And again, Savage, you know, I'm not sure how close he is to his college, measurables, but coming out of college, he was a top tier athlete, had that speed. You know, sometimes, again, like I told y'all, Oren Burks didn't do nothing for us, did he? But what did he do for San Francisco? Help their defense go to a Super Bowl. Do we need more examples of that? You know? What the fucking Bears do with Julius Peppers? You know, he was just getting the stats. But what did we do with Julius Peppers? We didn't win it all, but hey, we made it further than the Bears ever did with him. You know what I'm saying? Multiple NFC championships, if I'm not mistaken. You know? So yeah, but to answer your question, bro, I would do both, Big Nate. I would bring Savage in. Team-friendly deal, obviously. He ain't going to break the bank. If you do, good luck. Go out there. If your agent is that thirsty, go ahead. But, you know, team-friendly deal. Some cool for him. And it don't have to be a 2-year deal. It could be a kind of prove-it deal. Just like they did with Keyshawn last year. All right, 1 year, we'll give you a couple million. They might do that with Savage. It all depends on what Coach Hafley thinks Savage is capable of. And he has the attributes, the measurables to be that star kind of position. Now, might be a little undersized at 5'11". But there's always an exception, like Drew Brees, who's a whole 6 foot, and he threw for 80,000 yards, 571 touchdowns, 67 completion percentage over his career, people. I agree with that, you know, and I'm be a homer on that one. I agree with you. Go, Mike. Absolutely. And then sorry to say, it might be bigger than that. Quarterback's most important position. He definitely has value, David, and is where you put a motherfucker at. Amari Rodgers had value as a slot receiver. We didn't ever see that. Why? Because we had him out of position, returning punts, muffing punts, costing us games. Yes, TR, you know, and I think you can add that with a Savage. You know, Savage ain't got to be out there every fucking down. He could be out there to, you know, let this young rookie or free agency acquisition just, you know, get him acclimated to the team a little better. But again, Savage is a leader on the team. And these games this past year, you know, what I seen from Savage was great communication skills. And that's another factor in his game that people just, you know, kind of, You know, he's a communicator. He was the one running around telling Keyshawn to sit here and telling this person to do this and do that. And when he didn't play in games, we missed that. Again, shout out to my boy Callie Packer. If Savage would have took that second INT in two consecutive playoff games, if it was a fifth, I'd be drunk too. But I'm saying, if he still would have took that second one, he would have been a hero in Green Bay, right? So, you know, let's lay off of Savage a little bit, talking about we want him to go. I think we can do both. Savage is a cheap deal. We can get him for a 1 year kind of prove it deal in this new defense. And we have the draft capital to get another safety. And I think it's going to be the recipe for success as far as that. Oh, so you want a big B guy, you know? Me, Brandy, I want the ball hawk, man. I miss that Charles Woodson. I miss that Nick Collins. I miss that Ha-Ha to a certain extent. To a certain extent, Ha-Ha was a, you know, and listen, TR, crossing routes just kill everybody, you know? It kills everybody, you know? Crossing routes, if you run 3 crossing routes, one of them are pretty much guaranteed to hit a zone that isn't covered. And as far as man, crossing routes, you got to think crossing route is easier for a receiver. That's why the slot receiver and the slot corner has been so important. What did Wes Welker do the most? Crossing routes. What did you know all the slots, even Tariq Hill, a lot of crossing routes. Now Tariq has done built his game to be an all-around wide receiver. Once he was looked at as a special teams gadget kind of guy, but he's top tier in the league. And he was the MVP of my fantasy football league and my championship team. Tariq Hill brought it for me every week, man. Hafley will change the culture of this Packers defense ASAP, especially he's changing scheme to 4-3. I agree, man. And to me, 4-3 covers more ground, obviously. You know, it covers more ground. You get more people in the box, you know. As bad as we are with missing tackles, within the 4-3, there's more people, you know, we're more able to stop the run better. And then again, it depends on the corners you have to have that one high safety. You got to have some dog sticky corners, which I know we have one, which is Jair. And you know what, Valentine, you know, another thing, you know, second year leap. Sometimes it goes one way, sometimes it goes the other way. We are to hope that Valentine, even though Valentine's more of season, but comes in and, you know, improves their game. Hey, you know, I can't stand on that right now. We got to remember he was the DC or the D-backs coach of San Francisco. So, you know, they always have great players over there. But, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You know, for sure we're going to say that. Shit, we need to erase everything. Nah, man. You know, they had somebody who was on that team. You know what I'm saying? They had somebody named Ed Reed. They had somebody named Tony Saragusa. You know, we don't have either of that on our team right now. And that was an all-time historically great team. But can we be a playoff caliber, top 10-ish defense? Yes. But 2000 Ravens is not only the number one defense in the league at that time. They are number one defense in history. You always hear about the Steelers back in the day, Steel Curtain. You always hear about, you know, Tampa Bay, even in the 2000s, you know. And, yeah, so they are one of those kind of teams where historically you always going to remember it. You know, they won with Trent Dilfer, Elvis Gerback, whoever they had back there. And that just shows how good their defense was, shutting people down. So, yeah, I ain't going to say better than them, you know. But, again, it's going to be enough for us to win the bowl in the near future. Let's say that. Yeah, it would be nice to draft a Reggie White caliber player in this draft. Hopefully we can do it. Hopefully Lucas Van Ness has a little bit of that in him, you know. Hopefully he takes a good second-year jump. Definitely. And that started with Favre. There's a story about Favre where he just was breaking down a certain play, and when mentioning who he was throwing it to, he was like, you know, Driver's going to catch it. Like, he just said that, like, so effortlessly. So that means Driver had hands of steel. And when you have hands of steel, you could go over that middle. You might take that hit going over the middle, but you're going to catch it and come down with it. We good. I would like to to add a little more insult to injury, I would like to add Steve Wilkes. I don't know what he's doing, but it's like, shit, come up over here, bro. You can help our our back end, because again, Halfley is an expert with defensive backs, and Wilkes will be another great mind for him to. And Wilkes is a guy who just won in this new NFL. Halfley hasn't won in this new NFL yet as a D coordinator. Why not go grab a guy who just was in the NFC Championship, right? Oh, well, yeah, that's the plan. You're correct on that, Big Nate. Well, like I always say, it depends on the kids in the classroom. One kid might have been on the phone all night, knew he had a test the next day, but really knew he had to get 7 out of 10. You got the other kid who his parents is very strict, and he better get 10 out of 10. So, they on the same team, they in the same class. It just depends on how these different players pick this up. The players who pick it up slower, how can the smarter players put them up to speed and translate the new defense in a such that they understand what's going on? Definitely got hands of steel. And then, hey, I'm going to end it on that, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Thank you for coming through. You already know what time it is. Shout out to my boy, Go Mike. Shout out to Brandy Lewis. Shout out to Packer fans with swagger. Shout out to Monica Anaya, too. Shout out to KHTV, my boy. Shout out to Zane Strong. Go Mike Fitness. Shout out to TR. Shout out to House of Red Wine. My boy David. Hey, that's Niehoff, y'all. Shout out to, again, as I always say, if I forgot about you, I didn't forget about you. Blake 22. And on that note, I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. Thank you.